Hi, I'm Sasha, and today I'm at Myrus Colombo Center. I'm inside in the yoga studio. This place is in Colombo 5, great green surroundings. It's a combination of gym and yoga. There's some dance classes as well. And I'm so excited to meet the founder of Myrus Yoga and co-founder of Myrus Global, Dr. Miuru Jayaweera. I have been asking for a while to meet you and ask you some questions about yoga, about people's lifestyle, and thank you for saying yes to me.
You're most welcome, Sasha.
So there's so many questions I have, but I'll try to keep it short because I know you are busy. And the first, the question that I have been thinking about is like, what brought you to yoga? How did you start it?
So I started yoga for many reasons, and some reasons I cannot actually explain, and some I don't want to explain, but they're so personal, to be really frank. So many different reasons, and one most potent reason might be because I really love the asanas. So in yoga there are so many different pathways towards one goal, that is liberation spiritually, and towards this destination there are so many pathways that people take, and yoga has accommodated all sorts of energies in this umbrella, under this umbrella. So I took the path of asana, and in Ashtanga yoga asana is only one limb, but I took that to start. It gave me a sense of accomplishment, it gave me a sense of satisfaction, it made me feel better in my physical body first, and then slowly as I kept practicing asana with breathing, with pranayama, I figured out in my body there was things changing, my physiology was changing, my musculoskeletal structure was changing, my mentality, the way I reacted to different situations started changing, and well, it took some time, but I knew there was more than asana in yoga, and then only I started actually studying about it, researching about it, and then even after that only I started taking the YTTs, yoga teacher trainings, and then I became a teacher.
Thanks. And then the other question I have is, now you have been practicing yoga for quite a long time, right?
Yes.
What makes you going on? Like, is it out of habit, you think, or there's something else?
Part of me is actually out of habit. Actually, I kind of go off yoga sometimes. Sometimes yoga means the asana. Now I started because of asana, but there are times, and there were times in my life that there was a dip in asana practice and more towards lifestyle change, thinking pattern change, because yoga is also yama niyama, which means the change of your behavior, behavioral change, and the way that you change your personality through behavioral change. So I found that very interesting, because the more I practiced something that was out of my comfort zone in my behavior, I started changing my whole pattern of thinking, of feeling, of reacting. So everything changed with this behavioral change. So sometimes seasonally I would go more towards asana, and then I would withdraw, and then I would go more towards yama niyama, which is behavioral change, and then I would withdraw. I would go more towards meditation and pranayama, which is very, very comparatively lower than asana, which I would withdraw at times. And I think for me personally, mostly what keeps me going is the behavioral change, the yama niyama, the first two limbs. Without them, I can't call myself a yogi, whereas I would be just a yoga practitioner if it was just asana. A yogi means a person who had actually changed the lifestyle and the thinking pattern, and the blood chemistry and the sensations you feel, even you change through different types of yoga. Then there are there's another thing that clings me to yoga, that is the different types of yoga. So in Hatha Yoga, Vinyasa Yoga, you get these Ashtanga, 8-limb pathway, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. When you, that is Raja Yoga. Actually, all Raja Yoga styles have these 8 limbs. Inside this Raja Yoga, there are other interesting stuff like Kundalini Yoga. You go to a Kundalini class and you feel something extremely different instantaneously. And then there's face yoga. Then there's acro yoga. Then there's aerial yoga. Then there's I don't know. It's right now in the modern world there are so many different ways of keeping that Raja Yogic 8 limbs in your mind and your practice, and also stimulating your self in a positive way without making you feel bored with the same practice over and over again. So you can change things and try something new out, like a different yoga system. Yeah.
Interesting. And when you said like it's a lifestyle, I'm just come to my next question is, in today's modern world, we have so many diseases that come from a lifestyle. It's proven already, like type 2 diabetes, more and more people get cancer. Any thoughts on that?
What you just said, the lifestyle disorders are actually arising from the psyche, the lifestyle disorders, whereas the musculoskeletal injuries and the musculoskeletal structural issues come from the genetics and from, sudden accidents and all of that. So this lifestyle disorders comes from what you think, your thoughts. Your thoughts then, so for example, stress, the easiest thing. We start by being stressed. Where does it happen? In the mind. You are stressed about something and you keep thinking in a negative pattern, and the whole body, the nervous system, to your endocrine system, to your lymphatic system, to your respiratory system, to your cardiovascular system, everything gets a negative communication from the brain. So your mind, your thoughts is the culprit. So if you are stressed, if you are continuing to live under stress, and if you keep thinking negative thoughts, then your other systems of the body will collapse. Today or tomorrow, maybe it will take a month or a year, you keep thinking in the same negative pattern, the negative energy, the negative vibration and the frequency will then affect your physiological systems, and then you start getting diabetes, high blood pressure, palpitations, cardiovascular problems, gastritis, insomnia. So many psychosomatic diseases come from just stressing. So your HPA axis, hypothalamo pituitary adrenal gland, there's an axis. So there's a hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal gland. It goes down, so all the stress hormones, the cortisol, the adrenaline, everything is always secreting in unwanted doses. We need to have cortisol, a level of cortisol, a level of adrenaline, but more than we should. If they secrete, if this physiological system is not running as smooth as it should be, then obviously anything too much is not good. So then we come out as a diabetic or a pressure patient, or people with all these psychosomatic disorders. So in yoga, what we do is talking to the mind, disciplining the mind. That is number one in yoga. We use asana to discipline the mind. It actually took me a few years to understand that. But people usually get to yoga to the asana practice, and then because of the physiological changes they feel with the breath work and the asana practice, they understand, okay, there's something happening, there's something changing in the way I think, that is the mind. So in yoga, one of the first stanzas is Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which means your thoughts can be controlled with yoga. So the first thing, You have to know when you do yoga, your thoughts can be controlled. And that's why yogic exercises and yoga in general is very good as a preventive measure for psychosomatic illnesses. And also after you get the illness, it's like a palliative care. You don't go with medicine, you have to control as well. It's not like you completely cut down Western medicine or homeopathy or Ayurveda and then come to yoga. Once you get it, then you have to make, amends to, come back to your normal self. But while you do it, prevent yourself from going back there. And that you can do through yoga. And before you get it also, you can start doing yoga. If you genetically is predisposed by your parents' side to have diabetes, to have high blood pressure, there's a genetic also tendency for you to get it. So then you know it, you start yoga before you come to that stage. Your next question, I think.
Not question, actually, I want to add something.
Yeah.
A couple of things that you're telling. We all predisposed, we all have cancer cells. I can't agree more than like what you're saying. It's your thoughts, because if we all have cancer cells, why some develop and some don't develop? It's all the chemistry caused by our perception of life. And then another thing, like I was comparing sometimes gym to yoga. Gym is exercise, asana is also exercise. What I noticed for myself, I'm very happy for doing gym. I need this, especially with aging. Muscles need to be exercised and maintained. But what I noticed, I can listen to music, I can listen to a podcast when I do some gym exercises. When I try some asana that is a little more difficult, more advanced, like pincha, I can't listen to anything. I need to be there.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. I need to be there, I need to concentrate.
Yes.
And I think that's a big difference. And when you're there, it means you forget the rest of the world at this moment. You forget all of your problems. You forget that you have maybe 5 other things. And even if you're there thinking and worrying about these things, you wouldn't change the outcome anyways. So why to worry? And this is what is creating what you just mentioned earlier.
Yes.
The negative chemistry, cortisol, adrenaline, and so on. Then another thing I was going to ask you, why do you think people are waiting until they're diagnosed? Why they didn't start when they're healthy?
Because they don't know. We have to educate them.
Exactly.
They don't know that there's this technology that can prevent illnesses, that can make them content with life, that can make them better people, that can make them less stressed. They don't know. Let's make a noise.
That's the whole point actually with my conversation.
And also, Sasha, now yoga has become a catchphrase. And for some people, it's so overrated. And they're scared to get into yoga because everyone's doing yoga. So they're like, sometimes this happens for like Netflix or some movie that we want to watch. I haven't watched it, but everyone else has watched it. And like they're going on and on and on, spoiling it. And then I'm like, never mind, I don't want to watch it because everyone's doing it. Kind of, so now it's like yoga's everywhere. Yoga people are doing on the beach, people are doing in retreats, like white people, black people, brown people, everywhere. But the message of pure yoga is not properly out there. It's a preventive, it's a beautiful, it's a pure, it's an all-inclusive, approachable science. People think it's inapproachable because what you see is like beautiful bikini-clad ladies on the beach doing yoga. And they're like, yoga not for me.
So people saying, I'm not flexible, right?
I'm not flexible. You can, as I said, there are so many different yoga styles. Yin yoga is for people who are not flexible.